Before jumping in, this episode of Creative Space is a little spicy and contains profanity and adult themes that may not be suitable for listeners under the age of 18. But it is pretty awesome, so I hope you'll find time to listen without the kids around. Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Creative Space, a podcast where we explore, learn, and grow in creativity together. I'm your host, Jennifer Logue, and today we have the pleasure of speaking with writer, director, comedian, and my absolute favorite person to follow on social media, Sam Jones. She's written and directed branded spots for I Can't Believe It's Not Butter, Under Armour, Dollar Beard Club, Cricket Wireless, Pepsi, Samsung, Coca-Cola, and many more. Sam is currently a creative director at Paramount, writing spots across networks like Comedy Central, MTV, and VH1. She's on a mission to raise the collective vibe, one ad at a time. Welcome to Creative Space, Sam. Oh my gosh.
That was an amazing introduction. I absolutely love it. I want you to do my eulogy. But also, that's so funny. One creative ad at a time. I think that's hilarious because it's like, it's so capitalism. And I feel like I do try to make ads that lift the vibe. I do that. I know it sounds like shit, but it really is what I do.
No, you really do. I mean, and your social media feed too. And I'm saying an absolute truth. Whenever I need a lift, you post something that's hilarious. And I'm like, genuine smiles. I think you have written somewhere, put a little LOL in your heart. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, yeah, that's beautiful.
It's literally, we were talking before we hit play or record, but I was thinking in the shower today, what is my purpose? Am I living? Because I'm listening to all these audibles, like The Vortex. I just finished my 5th time listening to The War of Art.
Oh.
Not The Art of War, The War of Art by Stephen Pressfield.
That sounds familiar. Tell me about it.
So, as creators, writers, whatever, you don't even have to be a creative. In everyday life, every human being faces their resistance to whatever it is. For me as a writer, I have to, even if it's a work thing, I have to sit down and I pay attention. I'll try to distract myself. I'll say, I'm thirsty. I'm hungry. No. Should I light this candle? No. Yeah. Should I change my shoes? And put my house slippers on? Are my feet going to get, I realize being the observer, because at that point you don't want to be on autopilot. Like we have to wake up sometimes and check ourselves. Right. And I'm like, oh, what am I doing? Now that I read this book, I realize I'm distracting myself. And that is resistance.
Oh.
And so you won't ever get rid of resistance, but to be able to do the waltz with it and to beat it in combat, at every time, try to beat it every time, is what this book is about. And so I, growing up, was a procrastinator in my, up until I would say my late 20s, maybe my mid 20s. And I realized through Adderall that if I just got it done, that I would not have the anxiety of having to get it done. So while I feel like Adderall really did help me do that, I'm not even trying to be funny. I was all over the place. Now I'm not on Adderall. I was on it for 13 years. And it was at some point, it was actually doing me a disservice. So I got off of it and got fat. No, I'm not.
You're fabulous.
But that's okay. It is what it is. Anyways, now I realize that. So most of people are procrastinators, or a lot of people are, and I changed it. If I just get it done, then I don't have to procrastinate. And that anxiety, that resistance creates the anxiety. So now I just do it.
Yeah. So I do this thing. I just make a list every day. I know it sounds very type A, but no. I just make the list and I'm like, just do everything that you can on the list. So you don't procrastinate. So you don't let me just have a cookie. Oh, let me take another walk. It's so easy to procrastinate. It's creative.
Yeah, because I mean, he explains it so well in the book. I don't even want to paraphrase it because I'm not even like nearly as intelligent as this man is. Like he's he's amazing. Like this, and his voice is incredible. He
Mm.
started as a, he was in the ad industry. He was basically a copywriter. And then he was like, I hate this. He like left his life, his wife, became a taxi driver in New York City, and like he just started writing shit with his friends and then started trying to sell shit, and he got lucky, and he's a great writer, and he was hustling. I have so much respect for him, and this book is incredible. It sounds like I'm on his press junket right now, but
Oh my
I'm
gosh.
like,
I'm sold. I'm going to go on Amazon after our podcast and look it up. So,
I love it. I think it's going to be a game changer.
oh my gosh. Well, let's talk about you a little bit because I'm so curious. I know a little bit about your history, but I don't know much about your early life. And on Creative Space, I like to dive into everyone's beginnings
Hmm.
because we were talking a little bit before the podcast started about how our lens is shaped by our experiences, and we all have unique experiences. And do you feel comfortable talking about your childhood? What was it like? Who did you want to be when you grew up?
Yeah. My childhood, I grew up with, well, I'll tell you my childhood from 9 up. Fast forward to my stepfather, Jerry. Um, he was I don't know if you've seen any of my videos. He was a
Hmm.
real character. He was a New York Jew. I'm Jewish, so I could say Jew. I don't like when people say Jew and they're not Jewish. I would just say Jewish. Anyways, he was New York Jew, grew up with a silver spoon in his mouth. He was exactly what Kanye West said. No, I'm just kidding. Um, he just, he was the first kid on the block. His father was a judge. He was the first kid on the block to have a color TV. It was like very Leave It to Beaver in Manhattan Beach, Brooklyn, right? Like, so he was very entitled and very judgy with other people. So growing up in a family, I was growing up with a mother who was basically Larry David with a vagina, a stepfather who was Jerry Seinfeld,
Oh my gosh.
mixed with George Costanza. So it was just like a really crazy, whack. I'll give you just an example. My parents would send us to sleepaway camp every year. We would go up to the Catskills, where I live now, and we
Beautiful.
would go to sleepaway camp. And they drop us off in Riverdale, and like up by the Bronx, and this bus would come pick us up. And every year, I would see my mother and Jerry high-fiving each other when I got on the bus because I was gone for the summer. Okay, so that was one thing, right? Like at a table, that these are like little things that I remember. Sleepaway camp, I would get a call. It happened at least 2 times in the 10 years I went to sleepaway camp. I'd get a call, a page, Sam, come to the infirmary. Okay, I go to the infirmary. Your mom's on the phone, because back then there were no cell phones and stuff. We had camp phones, and they would ring you through wherever the closest thing was. And I'm waiting with my friends during visiting day, and I get on the phone. I'm like, what the hell? Did my parents get into a car accident? And it's my mother. Sam, the traffic is it's bumper to bumper. I'm turning around. I'll come take you to the Concord next weekend. Like the Concord was up there or whatever, the Neville, wherever was near the sleepaway camp. And I sat like parentless, and people felt bad for me. Like
Oh.
felt bad for me. I also grew up with a mother, and I love her, who the time she did come up on sleepaway, when she did come up for visiting day in sleepaway camp, I was sitting with my crush and like my bunk, which is my group that I roomed with, and in my on my quote team or whatever. And we're sitting, and the guy, Scott Terrestein, was there, and my mom's talking to the moms, and we're all involved in our own conversations. And I put Doritos inside of my sandwich. And as everybody's talking, my mom stops the woman who's talking to her. She's like, 1 second, Sam, only fat girls put Doritos in their sandwiches
Oh my God.
in front of everybody. This is
Oh
the kind of
no.
family that I'm just saying, like, this is it. This is it. And I wouldn't have had it any other way, because it made me so thick-skinned, where I'm very sensitive, very, very sensitive, but not about things like that. I'm sensitive of like, if somebody like, I'm just sensitive. I feel bad for everybody, and then I go out of my way, and then I end up getting screwed, but that's another story. But I'm not sensitive. Somebody could read my script and be like, this is pure trash.
Yeah.
And I'll be like, give me some feedback. You know what I mean? Like, if it's the right person.
It's beautiful. This is the thing, like family, we're open with our family. And it's like they just say it how it is, hopefully. And that helps us become, I think, more interesting human beings too. And embracing that. That's how I've come to accept my own experiences with my family, you know?
I've come to embrace that. And I've come to embrace the universe loves me, you know?
Oh my gosh. So what was your first creative pursuit?
I just started making these funny videos with my best friend, Matt Makar, who is a filmmaker. And we would just, he's like, you're so funny. Like, we should just like, I just want to film you doing stuff. I'm like, okay, like I could do and we just started doing it. And it was like, I would just tell stories and we would reenact them.
Wow, because it looks organic, and it's because it is.
Yeah, a lot of it is in the moment, just exploiting my family. Like At Home with Sam Jones was an exploitation of my family, and they deserved every minute of it. And they love it too, you know.
It feels like we know your family from At Home with Sam Jones. Like, yeah. And it's so relatable.
I look at myself as a regular person, just being me.
Yeah.
And that people like it who are also like me.
Do you want to talk about your collaborative relationship with Matt? Because you guys do so much work together, and, you know, teamwork makes the dream work. How did you guys meet? How did that whole friendship start?
Matt and I have been friends now for 12 years. I used to work at Libra Leather as their chief marketing officer. So I started in fashion. I started in insurance, and I got into fashion by becoming an executive assistant to the Leather King of New York by answering an ad.
Well, where's the ad?
The ad was in Craigslist.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
And I went and I was in a suit, and he was like this rock and roll god looking guy and the coolest thing. And I'm like an amazing salesperson. Amazing. That's what I did. I made money my whole life selling insurance or whatever. I was just always selling me. And whatever it was that I was actually selling is what people ended up walking away with. But it was me, really. So that's what I pitched him. And I said, I just want to be your assistant. And it was $70,000 a year. And I was so excited. I'm like a Brooklyn trash bag, and I'm moving to Manhattan, and I'm getting a job in fashion. And I was organizing things, making his life easier. And he was difficult to work with, but I loved him so much because he was like the crazy that I grew up with. But he one day I said, I want to start selling leather to designers. And he was like, he's like, name a designer you want to sell leather to. I said, Alexander Wang. He goes, it'll never happen. And I was like, okay. He said, from 8 a.m. in the morning to 6 p.m. at night, you're my assistant. I'll make you a copy of the key. If you want to reach out to West Coast sales, here's a drawer full of names. Call. And that's exactly what I did. And in 3 months, I made $1 million for him.
Wow.
I had Rodarte. I had Legence. I had, who else did I got? I got Helmut Lang back. I did get Alexander Wang. And because I got all those accounts, I used to sit front and second row at fashion shows. And people would be like, everybody wants to suck your dick if they think that you're somebody, it was so gross. But I did meet a lot of people who opened doors for me and didn't know that I was the leather distributor, like giving them great prices on leather. And that's why I'm there. They're like taking care of me, because I took care of them. Mm-hmm. And I just networked there. And then once I started doing comedy, the same people started following me and they were sharing it. So I became known again as like the funny girl in the fashion industry. It was cool.
And that's how you met Matt.
So Matt, I met when I was at fashion at a Style Like You party. We went there and I went with Mitch. That was the story. And I showed up on the back of his motorcycle because I was in love with him at the time. Mitch, not Matt. And then I got out and there was this guy with an afro and I was like, oh my God, is that Seth Rogen? And it wasn't Seth Rogen, but it looked like Seth Rogen. And he also was a film guy. And anyways, we hit it off and I went back to his house to smoke a joint with him and this guy, Mike. And Mike, him and I are still to this day best friends. We just hit it off from that day on. We were inseparable, started making videos together. We were in a band, Vintage Porn, together.
Oh, I didn't know about the band.
Yeah, we were in a band called Vintage Porn. It was something else. It was these were the best days of my life. My 30s were amazing. Amazing. And now I live in the country and I'm sleeping at 9:30.
I hear you there. I'm in the suburbs, not quite the country, but yeah, I'm definitely like in bed, 10 o'clock. Things have changed a little bit. Thank God
Your
for
teeth are
podcasts.
so white. It's unreal.
Oh, thank you.
They're very, very white.
Sidebar, I'm doing Invisalign and I got an electric toothbrush for the first time in my life and they work really well.
So I'm giving you advice right now. The fact that you're doing a podcast, we should just make this the whole commercial right here, because the podcast for Invisalign, like that's big money right there, girl. Okay, how can I parlay this brand where both the brand, the consumer who's listening to it, your audience, and you, there is an equal exchange of energy, right? It's not a sellout. You might, yes, it is a SELL, sell out, but it's not a soul out, SOUL.
Ooh.
Yeah, because you can't get mad if someone sells out. We're all here to live our best lives, right? But if you're, and this is the creative, but also the analytical brain talking for me, is like, I like nice things and I like to give my money to good, reputable charities, and I can't help other people unless I'm making money.
Exactly.
And so I'm thinking for you, you're doing a podcast, your teeth look amazing. That was off the cuff. They're straight as and you could be like, and somebody's like this, and now the Invisalign break. This is your Invisalign. Invisalign. If you want beautiful straight teeth for radio, this is amazing. No, I'm just kidding.
That's beautiful. I love how your brain works, Sam. Oh my gosh. I love that not soul out.
Yeah.
It's just, yeah.
When I took this job at Paramount, it was first Viacom, and I was freelancing for different agencies. I was doing for Vice and Refinery, and then Who Say.
Oh, wow.
And then I'm like, okay. Who Say's like, do you want a full-time job? I'm like, no. They were like, here's how much we'll pay you. And I'm like, and insurance? They were like, yeah. I'm like, Mama need a pap smear.
Yes.
I was already like 39, 40 years old. No, I was like 40 at the time. And I was like, okay, yeah, sign me up. And sure as 3 months later, we got bought by Viacom.
Wow.
I would never have been a creative director at this level that I'm at right now had it not gone down this way. That's why when people are like, well, you got lucky. No, I didn't get lucky. I was in the right place at the right time. And I did the work to get to Who Say for them to offer me a gig full time. But I said yes to it. And so you don't have to always know how it's going to happen. You just have to want it to happen. And this is all I wanted. I wanted to develop my reel so that, and learn how to direct, really direct. And that is exactly what is happening right now. But anyways, I digress. What were we saying?
Oh, I would love to hear about, when did you first know you wanted to do what you're doing now? Because you were at Libra Leather and you started doing At Home with Sam Jones with Matt. When did you know, like, I want to make a career out of this?
So I have a very good friend, David Comfort. And Dave, while I was at Libra Leather, Dave and I became very good friends. Through I started hanging out with this group. It was like the Newhouse, like Stephanie Newhouse, David Comfort, a bunch of people that were like Chelsea type people. And I was Lower East Side. So I started hanging out with these guys, and Dave was like, what, you're unhappy at Libra. Basically, Mitch's kids came in and they reorged things, and it became where it was just not behooving me to like be as frustrated as I was. I was there for 8 years. I absolutely loved it. And I'm not shit about it, but Dave was like, what are you doing? Like, you're so, you're doing these funny videos. Like, you're great at coming up with like these spoof ads, which is what I was doing in the videos, like these spoof ads. Why don't you like open up a creative agency? And I was like, Dave, how am I going to open up a creative agency? But I have like, I, by the way, was married, got divorced. I was starting over again, in my 30s. And he was like, don't worry about it. you leave Libra and I'm going to take care of you. I was like, okay, I wasn't having sex with him.
Yeah.
I was just friends with him. We never hooked up. There was no intention of that. Like, he, by the way, dates models. He wasn't into me, but he saw something. And
Oh,
I called him. I said, I'm ready to do it. I quit. And he said, meet me at cafeteria. I met him at cafeteria. He gave me an undisclosed amount of money to say, think about for the next 3 months what you in your brain would like to do. And I'm gonna support you like in that mission. I'm gonna put you in business. And I'm like, oh my God. So I thought we were gonna open this little mom and pop ad agency. And it was gonna be like if they would come to me to do like risque ads or like double entendre, like, because that was what I was known for, or what I'm known for in my comedy videos. Rather, I wasn't using my voice. I was trying to do buttoned up ads for people, and that is not what I left a dope job for. I wanted to make
right.
risque stuff. And
Because
so,
it's tricky with brands, with clients. I mean, because you have to go through so many levels of approvals.
but it could happen if we have to pitch it. We never know if they're going to like it if we don't pitch it. And the
Yeah.
partner who I was partnered up with did not want me to pitch it.
Oh, you
So
can't even get anywhere then.
So there was nothing. A man who never took a chance never had a chance. So that's what I go into every meeting with. And now people come to me for the risque ideas. I will get phone calls from, people at work being like, this is this, it's this, they want to do this. It's so Sam, it's you. You know what I mean? So you can do that. You just have to trust somebody and let them do what they're good at. If they're good at it online and people were digging it, then why wouldn't they dig it for the brands? I made a lot of money. I pitched Revlon. Revlon. I did an entire campaign for Revlon.
Wow.
I made more money that year independently than I make in 2 years now.
Incredible. And you're doing this this is before you went to the agency.
Matt and I were just doing it because
Wow.
we had, I did an article in the not the Inquirer, the Interview magazine, one of these magazines, and Jeffrey Fellner, God rest his soul, he just died. He's a fashion reporter, and he did this whole article on me. And then he did an interview, and the way I answered the interview, it wasn't the Inquirer, it was a New York magazine, but it wasn't Interview magazine. It was something like that. I'll find out. And Julie Maclowe, who is a socialite in New York City. She had a skincare line, V Beauté. She has Maclowe whiskey. She reached out to me and was like, I would love for you to do some copywriting and branding for my company. I'm like, I don't do that. And she's like, yes, you do. You're going to be great at it. And she started paying me $50 an hour. And I was like, fine with it. And I was doing her whole brand. I mean, I helped her. We hit it off. We would, it was amazing.
Wow.
And then through her, she had a party. I met this guy who ran Revlon's Sinful Colors thing. And she introduced me to him at a party. And he was like, who's doing your branding? He points to me. I got brought into Revlon, and it was like a dream come true. I left that building in the first meeting, and in my hand, I had a deal memo, which I'd never had before. And he told me I only have one. What did he say? I have 15 a day. So in my brain, I'm thinking, oh no, I'm sorry. He said I have 150. That's your rate, 150. So I'm thinking, he's like, and I'm thinking it's Revlon. I don't care. I just want my name on it. $150 a day. I'll do it.
Yeah.
It was $150 an hour. When
Wow.
I got to the elevator, I opened the thing. I called my mother. I couldn't believe it. I said, this is 100. I was jumping turnstiles and eating ramen soup. I yelped when I came out of there. I felt like I got like the heavens opened up and you heard the gates of heaven sound effect.
Yeah.
It was fucking insane.
Wow.
It was insane.
Talk about the universe like coming together and doors opening when you're on your purpose.
On purpose, lining up your intent with your purpose and your vibration, your frequency, and you're taking action, and that alignment will absolutely throw in eating right and getting all your together in your body and your cells doing it. You are unstoppable. We are literally conduits for like infinite amounts of energy and possibility. And we're just calcified. We're not really understanding our potential as human beings, because we're always worried about the how is it going to happen. That's
Hmm.
none of our business.
Yes. Yeah. Now on that note, I have a question I always ask. What do you think creativity is? Because for me, it goes beyond just the creation of art. Like I just feel like it's just that creative energy in life. Kind of going off of what you said, like your whole journey that you're talking about right now, that's some crazy energy right there.
I never thought I was creative. I never considered myself creative. I just started
What?
considering. I worked at Allstate Insurance for 11 years, from right out of basically I was taking non-matriculating classes at Columbia to find a rich guy. And so right out of there, I only did like a year of non-matriculating. I went right into Allstate Insurance and I started making money. I got my license and I was like, anyways, working there, that became my life. That's what I thought I was going to
Mm.
do. I never thought I always loved to dress and I always styled myself in a way. So that's creativity,
Oh
like
yeah.
everyone is creative. Even if you're a lawyer, if you're you sell tarot, whatever it is you do. My accountant's creative, and I don't mean creative like he plays with numbers. I mean, he's a rock and roll guy. He plays
Yeah.
guitar, he does music and all that stuff. Like people are creative and we're born it's our birthright.
Hmm.
And it's the jovial child. It's that feeling of, I don't want to say excitement because I don't get excited often anymore. I'm 45. I'll be 46 next month. And I don't feel like I often get excited. That's the truth. But it's this charge. It's this feeling of, and then if you suppress it, if you don't let it out, if there's not like this energy, like you said, right? If we don't let the energy out, then what happens? It turns into
Sadness,
sadness. It turns
depression.
into anger, depression, and all of those things. And I'm not knocking it. Some people have it like, where it's clinically depressed or whatever. I'm not
Hmm.
talking about that kind of depression. But for people who, it's resistance. It's you
Mm.
not, or whoever not, it's us not doing what our desire. When your desire is this and you suppress it because you don't think you can, or you don't have time to, or other thing, or you're, like, why, where is it going to get me? I just very quickly want to tell you this story because I
Oh
think it can help
sure.
your listeners.
Oh
I
for sure.
have one of the most talented people I know. I grew up with him. I'm not going to mention his name. He is literally the most talented person I've ever met. He's an incredible actor. He's been in a couple of things. And when the influencer stuff started coming out, my star started to rise a little bit, right? I had that Hollywood Reporter article. I started
Mhm.
doing stuff and he was treating me, and he lives in LA, and he was treating me like he was being like not very nice. And I was like, what's your deal? And basically I realized that he's been acting and doing this for so long. And now here come these creators who are making their own shit. They're not just waiting for scripts to be dropped in their lap. They're not just going on auditions and doing that way. I didn't make it that way. I'm not even where I want to be, but the way I got to where I am right now wasn't because a door was open for me. It was because I climbed through the window and opened my own door.
Yeah, I love that.
So this dude was, I'm like, and I said to him, so and so, you're the most talented person I know. Make your own. So he started doing it, and he said to me, no one's seeing it. I don't care. It's not going viral, or it's not. Where is it getting me? It's a waste of time. And it's like, but so you're waiting for not one or two things I've ever done in my life in the last 13 years has gone viral. Like the viral stuff isn't what gets you. Maybe it puts you on the map, but you got to stay there. Now that door
Hmm.
might have opened for you. You got to hold that open with every part of your body. And so like him not doing that, I would get so frustrated. I'm like, you're wasting so much time focusing on, you're not getting these commercials because influencers are getting these commercials and the new media deals fucking you over. But in reality, you're just taking a back seat, waiting for something to drop in your lap, and you're not going after what you deserve. You're creative. You're the most talented person I know. If anybody could do all this. And he hindered himself. He stopped himself, and it caused a depression because now
Mm.
the work nothing is going to change. It's like the people who from the radio, right? Back in the olden days, or the days, sorry if you're old and you're listening to this, where radio was the thing. Everybody would sit around and have Ovaltine or whatever. I don't know why I just did that. And they would listen to things on the radio. Then TV came out and people were like, oh, it's not going to be the same or whatever. And it's not going to, and they held on to the radio, and the people, the publishers didn't want to, the investors, advertisers go on TV. They were scared of it. You've got to roll with it. You've got to surrender to what is and be in the now of what is, and then take action. Nothing is going to come easy. Effort, if this is what you want to do, whatever it is, it doesn't have to be making comedy, making commercials, whatever it is that you want to do, you have got to commit to it and know that this might not be what pays you right now, but that means you can work at Walmart. I would do people's closets. I'll clean a toilet bowl. I have no ego when it comes to that. I'll be the best housekeeper up here in the Catskills. And so, but I will fund my life so that I can do my art. Because if I can't do my own art, even at work, I love what I do at work, but that's not my, I'm beholden to brands and seniors and, other creative directors who, might not, everybody weighs in on the work. So when I share something that I love from work, it's the final thing. It's like, it's big for me because I sometimes feel a little bit stifled. That's why I do my own. That's why I've got Yetta. And
Yetta.
There's a Sasquatch around Catskill or Caro, where I live, and Hudson, and I just walk around.
She is hilarious. This is audio, so do you want to talk about Yetta?
Oh yeah. Sorry, I got her fur in my mouth. So Yetta, I'm making a short film called Legend. It's about a Sasquatch who's out and proud, and she's out of the woodwork, and she's not, hiding anymore. She's stepped into her full self, and she's assimilated into Catskill, New York. Now she works at a bagel store, Goodies, which I happen to own. And this is real. And so I dress up as this character and walk around the Catskill, New York, Hudson, New York, and Caro. And I just show up at people's stores. She doesn't talk. I'll growl sometimes. I'll wave. She'll wave. And I just need that feeling of performance art. I need, and I want to raise the vibe for the people up here, and and the reason why I'm doing this is because it's no secret. There's a lot of white straight people up here, and that's fine. That's fine. But I think that because of that, the people up here, and not everybody, but a lot of people are afraid of things they haven't been in contact with. They don't understand. Trans, drag, maybe people of different colors and ethnicities. So Yetta for me is the X in the equation, is the whatever marginalized group you are is what Yetta represents, So we're interviewing the townspeople, and, these are real people about Yetta. We're telling them she lives here. This is the story. Go. And, we're getting interviews like, well, I never grew up with her kind. But now that she's here, I realized I was just never understood because I was afraid because I never met a Sasquatch before. And then her neighbors are like, well, I thought she was going to lower the value of the property, and then the wife hits the husband, and she's like, Ted, what are you thinking? Well, what I'm looking outside. How's whatever his name is, Chris, gonna sell his property when there's a Sasquatch blasting hip hop, dancing in short shorts?
Oh my gosh,
that's what I do.
Oh, it's brilliant. Wow.
And it's beautiful. It's going to be 10 minutes of peace, love, and fun and irreverence. I wanted to make something where I'm like, if I die, okay, I have these great At Home with Sam Jones videos. They're very cute. Okay. They're inappropriate. They're wild. But where is my heart?
Right.
And I got a dog, and the dog opened my heart. My heart is open. And so I love Yetta. I fell in love with this Sasquatch character. And I want to make a film where kids, adults, people from right, left, yellow, black, green, orange, whatever the aliens, whoever looks at this is going to get the message that you don't have to be a missing link to be a legend. You just have to be brave enough to be comfortable in your own skin, or to not even be comfortable, to stand in your own skin, no matter how terrifying, no matter how
Yes.
terrifying. And that's how you have to walk through life. That's how you have to walk through life. I'm afraid of everything, Jennifer. I am afraid of everything.
You?
Yes, but I push
No way.
myself to do it. I
Yeah.
push myself to do it because I know what it feels like, the anger, the disappointment, the self-hatred when I don't, when I stay complacent, when I stay complacent. That's what happens to me. And so I'm more of the mindset of like, I found the balance here living in the Catskills where I have a great work-life balance. I work very hard for Paramount, but I do have an equal amount of balance. You know, I'm not like, oh my God, I gotta go. I gotta go to this meeting. I gotta go here. You know, I don't, you know what I do? I'm Star Trek. Beam me up, Scotty. I'm in the computer and I'm talking to clients and I'm on the phone with the team and everybody's getting done. And then when I have to be on set, I'm on set.
Yeah. Oh, that's beautiful.
I'm so thankful. I'm so thankful.
What a beautiful career. Because I mean, it's I know it's branded work, but it's comedic and it's playing into what is natural for you. It's like, it's still raising that collective vibe, even though it's not fully in your control.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I try so hard to make sure that, is this going to make somebody feel good? Is it going to give them a chuckle? Or is it going to be something that is, you know, even if it's a dad joke, I don't care. Sometimes I have to do dad jokes. That's the name of the game, sell out. But like at the end of the day, it's still going to be something that is not a commercial that's going to be shoved down your throat. Like, you're ugly and you need this product to be beautiful. Because in other words, that is what advertising is. Right. And I want to change that. And so does my team at work. Nobody wants, you know, we're taking it back to a point where people want to, if you could see her, you could be her. So putting every different color, every different, and making sure that when we're on set, that every time I direct something or I'm the creative director on set, I ask for female DPs. I just came off a Wendy's and a Red Rocket and a Daily Show thing for with Christine Ng, who is an incredible DP. That's somebody you should interview, Christine.
Oh my gosh.
She's incredible. I mean, when I share this Wendy spot, you're going to see she's dope. The gaffer was female on. I mean, the producer, Jenny Lee, sickest producer I ever worked with in my life. Jenny Lee, she's just amazing. She made this whole thing come together. I mean, women. Yes. And I'm not knocking dudes. I'm not 10th wave feminist.
But we can bring something unique when we work together, because for so long,
yes,
we've been in this male-dominated society. So we're like finally seeing what's possible when women work together on something, and that energy, that unique energy that we can bring.
Absolutely. And not just women, like not just white women, also Black women, Spanish women. I mean, we were like bugging out on the last set we were on. I felt like I was back in public school. Like, I grew up with a mix of Korean, Russian, Puerto Rican, Cuban, Black, Dominican, Jewish, like Israeli. I mean, it was a melting pot in Brooklyn, growing up in Brooklyn in these public school, Irish, like everybody with each other. You know, listen, not everybody liked each other, but it wasn't because you were Black and he was, it wasn't like that. But if you don't grow up that way and you grow up in a predominantly Black or all white or all Hispanic area, then I think it may be a little bit more challenging. It might present a little bit more challenge to feel comfortable in groups of people, because now you're only going by what you've heard or what the media tells you, right? So for me, I've had the actual experience. My friends are still that way, you know? So like my friends are, if I go to a party and there's only white people, I'm like, this party sucks. And I feel weird being here. Like I am that person. I called one of my best friends out. We were at her wedding. There were 400 people there. It was in Massachusetts. I saw 4 Black people. I was like, you have 4 Black friends? That's all you know? Everybody is so white. She's like, Sammy. Oh my gosh. And that was it. And I was like, I'm not, like, it just, and it goes to my Black friends too. Sometimes I'm the only Black person at an event and I'm like, are you real right now? Like, I'm the only white person here. Did I just say I'm the only Black person?
You did. It's okay. We got
feel
it
in my soul. But like, no, I mean it. I feel like sometimes when I'm the only white person, I'm like, really? Like, you don't know any cool, there are no other cool white people. I'm the only one who doesn't put raisins in my potato salad.
So, on the subject of being a creative director, I got to ask, what is something that you've learned now or that you wish you knew 5 years ago?
What is something that I know now that I wish I knew 5 years ago? Not to take things so personally. Not to take things so personally when there's rejection. Like I would get used to 5 years ago, if I wrote a spot and a senior, like a C-suite person would be like, oh, this is no, I would feel deflated, or somebody wanted to change a line in the script. I would get so anxious about it and mad and fight on the hill and die on the hill for everything. And I was annoying. Who wants to work with somebody like that? There's a hierarchy in life. And if you want to make money, you got to play the game, and you can't take personally. So that's why I have to do my own and I have to write, I have to make movie, I have to make things, because I'm giving you my best practices, right? I'm giving you what I know will perform well online, what people are going to love. It's my voice. I know that this is what they will gravitate to in this commercial, because it's something that I want to see, right? If I would want to see it, and I'm not trying to sound pompous, but I do think I have a cool factor in my finger on the pulse of what's cool. I do.
You definitely do. I attest to that.
I feel that way. And so when somebody presents something, I'm presenting you what I think the best version of this online will be. And then people will either say, okay, let her run with it, which is starting to happen now, or they'll say, no, let's do it this way, to which it does not become my voice. And I feel like I got silenced, and I used to get butthurt about it and walk around carrying these heavy loads, not like, and then I was like, it's only heavy if I hold it.
Exactly.
I'm putting this down. I can't take credit for that. My best friend told me it's only heavy if you hold it, Christina. She said that to me, but it's only because our hypnosis, we go to hypnotherapy, and our hypnosis woman, she was the one that said it. Put it down. It's only heavy if you hold it. You know what I will say at Paramount, and I'm not like shouting them out like, everybody just go apply for a job at Paramount, but do it if there's any openings there. We'd welcome you with open arms. But at Paramount, there's a corporate structure all around the creative department. So we're in this bubble. We do have to abide and see the things. Of course, there's corporate things, but it's for the most part, they let the creatives be free. I think a lot of the times it's the people, like, there's a lot of people who want to weigh in because they have their own POV. But when you're a creative director, it's supposed to be your POV. You're shaping that creative. That's your job. From the beginning stage of the RFP, the request for proposal, that, figuring out what the KPI is, what is the customer's, the client's goal, and then building a campaign around that. That's the creative director's vision. That's why you're in that position. A copywriter will take that vision and put copy to it. I think that every copywriter is a creative director. I am a glorified copywriter, but I'm a creative director. I have the vision too. So I'm doing the writing and all of that. They let you do that here, where in an agency, they'd be like, no, bitch, you are the creative director. You get a copywriter assigned to you. I don't want a copywriter assigned to me. I want to do the copy.
Yeah.
So they let you, there's different things that it's a little bit different than an agency. That said, there's also things that suck about it not being an agency thing, like not the corporate structure. It's more like just process. Agencies are very process. There's a process. This, we're done.
I do love post. I mean, I think creatives thrive with some boundaries. Absolutely. And some processes. Like I feel more creative sometimes. Actually, most of the time I feel more creative with some boundaries.
Of course, because you don't have to look here. Now you can just look here. I find with my stuff is I go on idioms and I take keywords Okay. I take keywords that are in the RFP. Like, what do they want? What is their tagline? Do they have a tagline? What's their, what's their, what's the thing that separates them? And then I'll look up different words that mean other things that rhyme. I'll come up with double entendres, or I really use like hip hop in my head, like rap, to like come up with a fun title, catchy or whatever. And then I build the idea from that. To be honest, that's so stupid, but that's what that opens the door for the muse to come in.
I was curious about your process because your brain, it works so fast. Like you just constantly have ideas. I mean,
imagine, and when I was on Adderall, how fast I was speaking. If I'm speaking this fast now.
Oh my gosh. See, I'm the opposite. I'm very like, I don't know. I'm very slow. I need quiet time and things just like kind of pour in, I always admire people who think really fast.
And, but
that spitfire.
It goes so fast. So if I don't take that thought and write it down or do something with it, it's gone. It's like almost like a diamond, right? Like in my brain, it's like every
little glimmer, shimmer.
Yeah. Well, it's not a shimmer. You know how like the diamonds have the cuts in it? Like it's like a facet and a diamond. So my brain is turning new facet, new facet, new facet. And if I don't pull it out, but again, like right before the podcast, I had a cup of coffee and I was like, I want to be on for this.
Yeah.
I'm either this way or I'm like, yeah, man. I think that you being you and you following your path and your intuition, whatever that is, that guttural brain that's telling you this, you following that is the best thing that anybody can do. It's the best thing I can do. It's the best thing you can do. I always tell people when they're like, I feel like I'm boring, or I feel like I'm a nerd. I'm like, if you're a nerd, be the nerdiest nerd. If you're a clown, be the clowniest clown. If you're a slut, be the sluttiest slut. Find who you are and be that, or create that, whatever it is you want to be.
So I want to change my question. Your journey, you didn't plan from the outset for all of this to unfold. Like, it's just so interesting how it all, what is that you follow? Do you call it intuition?
I call it my witch. I say it's my witch. We all have it. Even men have it. It's your spleen, your gut, whatever you want to call it. It's the thing inside of you that it's the same thing that when you're driving and you know not to throw garbage out of the window. You don't only know that you shouldn't throw garbage out the window because somebody told you that it was wrong. You, in your body, in your heart, most people, if they're honest with themselves, know that it's wrong. Or if they don't know that it's wrong, maybe those are the people that throw it out the window. But we have our own little things inside of us that say, don't do this, do this. And it's not like saying it. People are waiting for it to like spoken to you. You feel it. You know it. And the more you follow that intuition, the more you listen to that feeling and do what that feeling is telling you, the more strong that gets as a muscle. It's almost like doing squats, right? Your ass starts getting really strong. The more squats that you do, the more you use that muscle, the more it happens for you, where the universe just starts, like you start just being in alignment. And it forces you there. Like you have no choice. It just goes there. And you're right. I wished, I wish that I could be where I was. Thinking back, even before Libra, I was so thankful to be at Libra. I was so thankful for my different jobs that I had. I learned so much that everything that I've collected in my toolbox, I bring to my writing.
Yeah, and your work as a creative director. I mean, all that business experience you have.
Yes.
Like the best advertising schools in the world can't teach that. I just find your journey so interesting, and how moving forward, maybe it didn't make sense for you, but then as you look back, as Steve Jobs says, it all makes sense.
Yeah.
It's magnificent.
When they say trust the universe, it's really, you are the universe. That's what's inside of you. That's the witch. That's what's telling you, like, it's like the water, like we're in tune with everything. This is not just, we're not just here and we're living on Earth. That's not what it is. Earth is also living. the veil, like under the veil, everything's connected.
So interesting.
And the moon, we're in tune. You're to be in tune with everything is just to, and that's why I tell you, read the vortex, is just to let go and figure out in your mind, what is that? Create your vision board, Pinterest, or you see something that's inspiring, something that makes you feel a way, like redoing your closet, redecorating your house, painting, trying a new color. Like, hey, I'm inspired to paint this wall purple. I don't know. Should I paint this wall purple? I don't know. And then you talk yourself out of it. Paint the fucking wall purple.
Yes. Paint it purple.
Paint it purple, baby, because that's what's inside of you. That's the witch. That's the thing. That's the creativity. It's all part of that same, it's energy.
Yes.
And we are that.
We are energy. And that's this podcast. It was on my mind for a while now. Even before during the pandemic, I had this in the back of my mind, but I wasn't the place to do it. I didn't have the recording space. I have my house now, so I have the space, and it wouldn't leave me alone. And I'm like, let me just do it. It'll be fun. I can reconnect with people. And wow, it has been so healing for me already. And just, I don't know where it's going to go, but it's really fun doing it.
Doesn't matter where it's going to go.
Yeah.
Does not matter where it's going to go. It doesn't. But you know what? It's going to go out into the universe. And if 2 people listen to it and they were like, oh, I got so much out of this podcast. Cool. That frequency goes back to you. It doesn't matter if you know the people or you don't know the people. You walk through life being that energy that lifts people up when you can. And that means that you need to be around people and then not be around people and recharge yourself. Be careful what you listen to. I listen to a lot of rap music. I listen to a lot of like I like also like very melodic music, and it's depressing and stuff. And I stopped listening to that. I stopped watching like fucked up movies on TV because our subconscious picks up everything. And so now I pay attention. What am I repeating? Our words are spells. They call it spelling. Yes. Our words are spells.
I love listening to Louise Hay. Do you know Louise Hay?
Of course. That's the first book that I've ever read. You Can Heal Your Life by Louise Hay. That changed my entire life.
Yeah. I mean, I just love, if I have a particularly hard day or whatever, or I'll listen to her in the morning, first thing. Like that's like the first, and she's just so gentle and and she's gone now, but her healing lives on.
Oh, absolutely.
And it's beautiful.
She's the one that flips on the switch just to give you, it's almost like she's giving you a jumper cable to restart what your soul already knows, what you inherently already know. And I think that the best thing that we can do in life is just hold space for other people so that you don't you hold space, have compassion. If somebody's being a miserable it's because they're not receiving love. Something's off. If you're receiving love and you're in a state of love, you can't be like that effed up. You're going to have a lot of bleeps on this. I'm very sorry.
It's all good.
But holding space for people, even if you're like, I do not agree with you, like politically or religiously or whatever, most people aren't inherently evil. They're just looking at a different side of the quarter. You know what I mean? And holding space for that, even when you disagree with it, frees you from the anger, the dis-ease. When you're in dis-ease, you're diseased. That's what accumulates. Yes. And so I'm trying to bounce through life in a way of I know my highs. I lost my dad in 2018. I know how highs could be very high and then I drop real low. So I just want to stay and float in the middle, bounce in the middle, And I know I'm going to have good days and bad days. I know there's going to be very hard times in life, but that's why when the good times are happening and things aren't that bad, I have to focus on everything I'm grateful for. And I got to tell you, since I've been doing that, my life has gotten significantly better.
Oh my gosh. What are your gratitude practices? Do you journal or?
I don't journal. I have a mountain view. So I look out of this home in the morning, I make a cup of coffee and I go out on my deck. I don't care how cold it is. And I say, I can't believe that I live here. Thank you, universe. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you to all the things. I just sit with the gratitude. I hold the gratitude. I look at the trees. I know those trees love me. when I'm, but that's easy to do. What's hard to do is when I'm angry, how do I find my gratitude? And that's where the work comes in. Something messes you up, and now you've got to look for that gratitude. And when that's the work. That's the real work, because that's when you're putting it into action. That's when you're not in the bleachers, you're on the field.
Yes, like actually putting into practice in the real world. When you
the moment.
In the moment.
You're angry. Like, it's easy for me to wake up and have a nice cup of coffee and look out my window and see a beautiful mountain and be like, man, I am grateful. It's quite another thing when, my boyfriend's using my Easy Pass and it keeps replenishing $50, $50. And now I'm so angry. And I'm like about to yell at him, and I know he's having a hard day. And I'm like, let me let it go. I have so much gratitude for all the things that he does for my life. This is so insignificant in the grand scheme of things. So I wait, and then I'll casually bring it up the next day or whatever when I remember. Hey, do me a favor, switch the Easy Pass to your name, instead of being like,
right.
Finding the gratitude there, starting with like, I'm grateful for you, and I'm grateful for my life, and I'm grateful for my health, and I'm grateful for my family still being here. And I'm grateful for, and then I look at it and I'm like, if I were on a hospital bed right now, would I give a shit that he used my Easy Pass? No.
Exactly.
This is only how I operate. I don't know if this is the right thing to do. It might be terrible for some people because it's dark, but that's my thing.
Hey, if it works for you, it works for somebody else too, because we're all connected.
Absolutely.
I have a question about what drives your passion to create? You peel the onion.
What drives my passion to create?
The drive, like
it's that feeling of before we were talking about the procrastination, that feeling of, if I get an idea, I write it down and I start like at least building it out a little bit, if I have the time to do it in the moment, I write it down. And then I have it like another thing to come to, like as an idea that I want to build out, or something that I want to pursue, or something like that. That's like that's me taking that idea from the universe, being like, okay, first step, I'm writing it down. The desire to do it is my desire to not fail. My desire to continually push to have my own television show. I would love to be writing on a show. I would love to be one day work with Amy Sedaris or Jody Lennon. I would, that's my desire, to prove also to myself that I can actually have everything that I've ever wanted as far as my career is concerned. But I don't focus so much on it. My fear of failure is what keeps me motivated to I don't know if the right word is creative. That feeling that I get, like, of energy of like, oh, I've got this idea. The thing that pushes me to make that idea happen is my fear of failure.
Oh, so interesting. A fear of missing out. Oh my gosh.
Because if I don't do that idea, somebody else is going to do that idea. I'm writing simultaneously 2 features right now.
Yes. Wait, oh, you're doing 2 features.
Well, the Sasquatch is short.
That's a short.
That's all improv. But
the Ghost Hunters.
Ghost Hunters. Ghost Hunters is about 2 women who get closure for other women. I don't want to fully go into it.
Okay, that's fine.
But I will. We're almost finished with the first draft, and the other one is about the mafia.
Oh, I didn't realize you had another feature too. It's
called Connected. Yeah, that's what I said. I got this idea based on a life experience, and I was like, no one's going to write this. I have to write this. And so I started beating it out already. I've already got a first scene down while I'm working on with my writing partner, Cindy Hickey. We're simultaneously working on 2 things.
So she's your partner for both?
Yes, she's my full-time writing partner. Her and I found somebody who has a very what's the name of it? Not accompanying. Something that makes your stuff better and enhances my work, and Complementing. Her voice
Yes.
complements my voice and vice versa. So we're in sync. We just finished a pilot called I Suck about a gay vampire. He's got to come out to his family that he's gay. And his family's like old school white. And he's got to come out to his friends that he's a vampire. So his life sucks at the moment, and it's amazing. I love it. It's great.
When is
And
that coming out?
fucking who knows? I've got scripts for days. They're collecting stuff. But that's what happens. Something will pop, and then everything else will be like, what do you got? I got a show about a life coach. I got a show called Indecent Exposure about the advertising industry. It's like Mad Men, but in this generation. And like,
I love that.
I've got so much, but no one cares because they don't know who I am and they don't give a
Not yet, but no, a lot of people do actually, Sam. Like I think very soon, that big moment. You're already having big moments. You're like a creative director at Paramount.
I am very thankful. I am very thankful for literally everything that I have. But I see the stuff that's on TV, and some of it is gold, incredible.
Right.
Some of it is such trash that I don't understand how no one's picking up this show. Like,
we need some Sam Jones. Like in TV,
and it's queer and it's funny and it's like, but like everything, the voice, people have it. There's Broad City, there's Fleabag, there's the shows that I think are amazing. And I feel like these shows that I'm writing are on par with that. And I know that's a big, that's a big statement for me to make, but that's how wholeheartedly I believe that. I would never say that.
How long does it take you to write a script?
That pilot took us 2.5 years to write. I Suck because we wanted to really flush out the characters, because in a series, it's so important that you have those characters. Like, that's Schitt's Creek taught me that. Like, it didn't matter what the location was. Like, that show was brilliant to me because of the characters. Abby and Alana, the characters, like think of The Office, the characters, like it's Seinfeld, the characters. So we needed to build their origin. Why do they walk through the script this way? Why do they react this way? Who are they? And so we took a long time to do that. I find it easier to write features because I don't give a like, these are the characters. You're only going to know them from here. And it's not going to be 5 years that you're going to follow them. Unless there's a spinoff, which I'd take.
Cool. So how long does it take to write a feature then, would you say?
I would say first draft of sitting and writing a feature while also, having a full-time job would take me is taking me about 4 months.
That's impressive. Okay.
I have a writing partner.
Okay.
So we write we make time every night. I'm writing, I shouldn't say that, 3 nights a week, I'm writing 2 hours a night. And so is Cindy, and she's an engineer. She's not a comedy writer. She is a comedy writer, but she's an engineer, has two young children, married, and lives in Buffalo.
Okay.
And she's amazing. And so we're trying to, make a name. She went to film school. She worked in entertainment when she was, in her 20s, and, life took her someplace else, and I'm bringing her back.
As it does. Yeah. Yeah. So, that's so cool.
So I think everything is going to work out the way it's supposed to. And if not, like I told you, I'll live up here. I'll redo people's closets. I'll clean their toilet bowls. I'll have a house cleaning business, and I'll be the best housekeeper in Greene County. That's what I will do. I will redesign people's houses with the furniture they have in there already. If it doesn't work out, I will still find a way to make myself happy and to pay my mortgage.
Yes. I mean, or you'll be continuing to direct amazing branded spots.
Or I'll continue to
Paramount
directing.
But I'm sure all these scripts sound amazing from what you told me about them. And from seeing all of your other work, it's only a matter of time, I think.
Listen, I hope.
Yeah. But in the meantime, you have an amazing life, and you're enjoying it. I want to ask what's next for you. I know we talked about a lot, but is there anything else you want to talk about?
I don't really know what's next for me. And honestly, I just got my period today, so probably a heating pad and a Xanax. I don't really know. No, I would like to start directing more. So I think, pursuing directing in a more aggressive, going after directing gigs a little bit more aggressively, instead of just waiting for people to be like, hey, we need a comedy director and we want a female, can you do it? Sure. So I think that this could be funny for your show. Hold on. Mom, I'm on a podcast and I'm telling them about the time where you said only fat girls put Doritos in sandwiches.
Oh, shit. I just want to see how you were. I just faked you since this morning. Okay.
I love you.
That's amazing.
Look, full circle.
Oh, that's beautiful. The universe delivers.
For you. This was a great podcast.
Oh, this is so fun. Oh my gosh.
I hope people listen to it. I'll share it also.
Oh, thank you. Sam, again, an absolute honor to be able to spend this time with you. I guess I'll do my outro now.
Do your outro. I just want to say thank you so much for thinking of me, and it was an honor for me to be here because I'm a fan of yours, and I'm just excited to see where your life goes and your career, and I think this is going to be a big hit for you.
Oh, Sam, thank you.
You need advertisers, girl. Invisalign. Invisalign.
You know what? Maybe that'll be the first one. Put it out into the universe.
Perfect.
For more on Sam Jones, you can visit therealsamjones.com and follow her on social media at therealsamjones. And thank you so much for tuning in and growing in creativity with us. I'd love to know what you thought of today's episode. You can reach out to me on social media at Jennifer Logue, except for Twitter because I've been hacked and I can't access my account anymore, or leave a review for Creative Space on Apple Podcasts so more people can discover it. I appreciate you so much for being here in the beginning stages of this. My name is Jennifer Logue, and thanks for listening to this episode of Creative Space. Until next time.